Oi, mateys. Me name, Malcolm Ravensdale, and I'm here to talk to you. That's right. About nothing in specific or particular, but talk to you nonetheless. I was thinking earlier, and I remember years ago, eons more like it, I was in a punk rock band called Embezzlement. We never really made it too far. In fact, we probably didn't even make it out of band practice. Due to a lot of rubbish amongst people. But nonetheless, Embezzlement was the name of the band, and it really has no bearing on this story except for the fact that who I was then versus who I am now. You know, it's quite interesting when you look back at your life and see how much it's changed. Like, for instance, when we're children, we're usually sheltered very well by our parents and we feel safe, but we don't really have much cares in the world. We just worry about going out and getting kicks, playing around and whatnot, toys, such like that. I was a big fan of the sandbox, personally. I don't know why. But also liked construction vehicles when I was a child, dump trucks and such. So that, and I also like to make rivers. Believe it or not, I like to make rivers with my fingers, make grooves, and then pour water. Like I would have like a reverse volcano, and I would pour the water in the top of the volcano, and it would come down and flow through the little river into a little pool of water at the bottom. That was one of the things I used to like to do. Also throwing sticks and whatnot on in the water running down the street, watching them float as if it was a boat of some sort, following it, see how far I could go, and then it would make it to the falls at the sewer points and drop in, and I'd start the game all over. But that's child. As a child, you're very sheltered. Then you get to a point where you're starting to hit puberty, and it becomes very awkward, doesn't it? A very awkward phase where you're not really sure who you are, you're not really sure who you want to be. Your body's going through changes, hormonal changes, mental changes. Everything is kind of up in the air right there. It's probably at that point of our lives where we're the most vulnerable. And then after that, we go into our teen years, more so after puberty has already settled in. And it could still be going on, but we've got a grip on that. And we get a sense of confidence that's unlike any other confidence we've had. And even though some of us might have been suppressed and beaten and bullied or abused, there's a sense of invincibility in that aspect right there. And it's at that point of your life, this is the worst part, because this is when nothing seems to matter. I mean, of course things matter, but you don't even care. You don't think about it. I mean, even as a child, like, even if it was just your toys and such, they mattered. You know, your parents, they mattered. Then you went through that cloudy phase where, you weren't sure what mattered. And then you get into this invincibility mode, the teenager, the angst, the rebellion. This is where all your phases go into, where you fall musically, what group you follow as far as cliques in school, so on and so forth. But there's this invincibility that causes you to go one way or the other. And it's at this point where our parenting rears what we've instilled in this child. Now, you could take an extreme example like Dylan and Eric of Columbine, and even though they knew they weren't invincible since they were to kill themselves at the end of the ordeal, it was that invincibility, it was that extra bit of bollocks to do, like, the unthinkable, you know. And it's at that point where one thing or another can give or go. You can either change for the better or change for the worse at that point. If you've been angry and depressed That's where you get the ticking time bomb. But if you're happy and well taken care of, that's where you start to really flourish on a roll, thinking about college or university, thinking about careers, so on. Even girlfriends, serious girlfriends, such as their boyfriends, whatever, whichever you are. But after that, we hit into adulthood. In adulthood, everything is totally different. Things that matter, we wish didn't matter, and things that don't matter, we wish mattered more. Like everything is just up in the air. It's almost like that puberty area where everything is just kind of floating about, if you've noticed. But we have the knowledge now, because of all those other phases of life, to link on to what we really want to believe in and strive for and move with. And I believe that is where we're at. And I don't think enough people remember who they were, first and foremost, or what their dreams once were, or still are. A lot of people just totally forgotten about that and gotten to the routine, the humdrum, the mundane of everyday life. Work, sleep, work, sleep, work, sleep, or whatever your routine is broken down, it's always the same every day. And, it's a hell of a way to live. I personally do not condone living that way. But unfortunately, the way of the world, that's kind of the way we are brought into it, and we have to do that to make ends meet and to support family, support ourselves, so on and so forth. Yes, there are resources for those who don't work or are disabled, but let me be honest, the amount that they're given, no one can live on it, really. I mean, you talk about scraping by. A lot of people say they're just scraping by. This is below that. The help you get from the states, from the government, it's so on. It's not always like, people like to think, oh, they're just lazy and they want free money. Trust me, working has its perks. You will never be able to live comfortably at all under this amount of money unless you're doing something on the side, and it's usually something illegal. But if you're doing something on the side, you're working or whatever, that even that little bit of money is not going to make or break you. It's not going to make much of a difference at all. It's a little piddle in the river, if you understand. So, I guess what I'm getting at is keep an eye on your children. Make sure you teach them properly what they need to know in each of those phases of their life. That is key to developing a successful attitude. And you also have to stress to them that mistakes and errors and failure is all mythical. Those are all essential parts of succeeding. You will never succeed first go. You got to go through the rubbish to get to it. So it's essential that people who fail or make mistakes aren't shamed for it. They have to understand that they're going to take their bumps, they're going to fall, they're going to scrape the knee, they may get worse. But if they're taught right, their resilience, they will rise again and conquer whatever it is that's held them back before and whatever comes forth in the future. So I hope that in some way this helps you as an individual, because we as adults have the power to change at any given time, drop of a dime, who we are, where we're going, who we want to be, what we're striving to be. I know who I'm striving to be. I'm Malcolm, and I'm doing what I'm doing the best I can, and that's just trying to instill some hope, faith, love, kindness, positivity, interaction amongst people of all walks, creeds, colours, etc. Be kind to your neighbours. Be kind to strangers. It goes a long way. I can't stress it enough. A smile can make a difference in a person's life. Even if you don't know them, a simple smile and a hello could make such a difference. So be that person. Be the person who does that, and everything will come up aces. To the haters, I got two fingers for ya. Fuck off. to the rest of you. I wish you peace. May God bless you, and I'll talk to you then in a bit.